So we're here with Charlie Deal with Dos Perros Restaurant. And Charlie, first off, thanks a lot for having us out tonight. And we're looking forward to the Unibrew dinner that you got lined up. And I know you guys have been working really hard on the pairings, and we're looking forward to it, man. The way that you're pairing up the food with the beer these days is just spectacular, in my opinion, and people are raving about it. So, you know, we did this dinner last fall and with Unibrew, and I thought it went off without a hitch. And I love the spicy combination with these Belgian-style beers. And you want to tell us a little bit about how you paired up the beers? And
well, I mean, the beer, we do it the same way we do it every time, and it's actually not, it's not hard, at least in terms of arduous, for sure. I mean, we sit down with the beer, we drink the beer, and we decide what we're going to make, and it sort of happens right then and there. And it's a combination of, sometimes we want to sort of fit in around the beer, where it's sort of, we thought, it's sort of a kind of a cerebral approach. Another cerebral approach is where we're trying to pick out flavors in the beer and mimic those flavors. And honestly, sometimes it comes down to, damn, I wish I had a plate of this in front of me right now, and so we'll just write that down. And those are the most fun. The first time I get a chance to taste the beers with the food is that night.
When it's rolling out of the kitchen.
They make one extra plate for me, and I pour a little of the beer for myself, and I find out for myself how well we did. But for the most part, we get it right. And the Belgian beers, Unibrew in particular, they make it pretty easy on you because the beers are they're so great with food. And they do handle the spice because, well, like all beers, they've got a little bit of sugar in there, which is why beer is such a great pairing for both Asian and Mexican cuisines, which are the two cuisines that I work with the most.
Now you do a lot of beer dinners, right? I mean,
you're about
two a month. Yeah. That's great, man.
We're actually going to be starting a new program where we're, instead of doing 2 brewery-specific dinners a month, we're going to do one of those a month, and then one a month where I'm just actually going to go into our archives and put together sort of a cool, like more of like a focus on style. So we might do a barley wines dinner, or some sort of dinner based on something, as opposed to having like all the beers from one brewery. Just sort of pick out some kind of neat
different styles. Yeah,
we've done one collaborative dinner with North Carolina breweries where we had Duck Rabbit and Mother Earth and Highland, and so we did 2 courses with each of them.
Okay.
So they all did show up for that, and that was pretty fun.
Now upstairs, throughout your whole restaurant, you do a cellaring list as well.
Yes, we have. We have I mean, just our regular list is, a fine enough list in terms of our devotion to craft, but we've also have a secondary list that I keep. And so we've got a building archive of some vintage beers, but also just a collection of hard to find beers. Some of the stuff is really allocated. I try and, at least if it's a beer that can last, I'll stash a few away. And if it can't last, I'll still stick it on the extended list just to sort of keep.
Yeah, that's the great thing about it. The higher alcohol, and especially as you get into the, the more highly hopped, or even the Belgian that have such a shelf life to them that you can sit on them for years.
The Belgians have a great shelf life. I always try and stash, just for the sake of knowing what it's going to be like. I always try to take 1 or 2 examples of some of the better IPAs and just throw a few of them down there.
Put them back and see what happens.
Just for giggles.
I find they lay down a little bit with a little bit of age. I mean, especially as you're aging them an extended period, but
they're fun.
Yeah.
They don't taste like pine anymore, but they're cool.
And so we've got a little bit of we got the Ephemera Cassis here, which is a nice little blackcurrant beer from Unibrew. Yeah, it's nice and light. It smells very sweet, but then as you get it on your palate, it's very balanced out, and it works very well.
The Ephemera was actually the first Unibrew beer I ever had, the regular Ephemera.
With the apple.
Yeah, just a straight one. I drank that one for a long time.
And if you smell both of these beers, they smell like they're going to be super sweet on the palate, and it just...
So what is the Ephemera? Now, the only thing, they share a name only in the sense that they're both fruit beers. They don't really. Yeah. They're both based on the Blanche de Chambly.
That's it. Yeah.
And this is, one's got apple and one's got cassis.
Yeah, this has got. I mean, this is definitely to me a little bit different. And I don't know if it's just the way that the blackcurrant has worked with the base beer, but it's it's pretty much around that 5.5% normally on the Ephemera.
Gotcha.
And then, so you've got the apple, you've got the cassis, and hopefully we'll see some of the cranberry this winter as well.
Oh, fun.
With that beer, yeah. Well, Charlie, thank you so much for having us out, man. And I know you got a full kitchen up there tonight. And,
well, hopefully you have a good time tonight.
Cheers, yes. Unibrew, based right outside of Montreal and Chambly, Quebec. First brewery in North America to produce all Belgian-style ales, to pave the way in 1990, and in 1992 was the first beer that came out, and that was Blanche de Chambly. If you guys are familiar with that, it's a great Belgian white beer, and brewed with a little bit of orange peel and coriander. And in 1992, when that beer came out, it was like, people were like, this beer is cloudy. There is something wrong with this beer. I must send this back. There is not, you know, because now the more and more you see, it's more of that unfiltered beers. Anytime that you're running a beer through a filter, you're stripping flavor. Coincidentally, I'm a brewer of 12 years before I started working with importers. So I've been doing this for about 20 years myself, so kind of all aspects of it. But anytime you're running through a filter, you're gonna be stripping flavor out of the beer. You really get stability. So like with our lighter beers from Unibrew that are less than 6%, you've got a you know, at least a year shelf life. Whereas most beers, you're looking at about 3 months. These are not pasteurized either because they do have live yeast in there. But these beers with the balance on it, it's like you can grab the La Fin de Monde at 9% and be like, wow, that beer really drinks well. And that beer drinks dangerously well. And that's one thing about the Belgian brewers. They do the, you know, they are very, very good at masking alcohol. The flagship Fin de Monde on up from Blanche de Chambly, Éphémère, Maudit, the Trois Pistoles, Terrible, and then we've got some special stuff that we're breaking out over here with the Éphémère Cassis.
This is like, I love this beer. And so if you don't like it, I'll have yours.
Yeah. Once again, it smells sweet, but it actually is very light on the palate and a nice little balance. Touch of fruits, kiss of fruit. Thanks to you guys very much for coming out tonight, and enjoy the dinner. I'll tell you a little bit about the next beer as we get up.
Sad until the demons disappear. And oh, darling, open up your eyes. There's nothing here to fear. I will hold you to my side until the demons all have subsided. I'll hold you to my side until the demons disappear. I will hold you to my side.
Cheers, Charlie.
Till the demons
Thank you so much. Yeah.
disappear.
Hosting this tonight.